Hello again, and thanks very much for joining us. We begin business now from Abuja, where the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has urged the trade associations and merchants to take advantage of the numerous benefits provided by the central bank digital currency, also known as E-NAIRA, to promote and grow their businesses. Specifically, Emefiele said the availability of E-NAIRA payment options on e-commerce merchant platforms such as REMITTANCES will complement the existing digital payment system, translating to about 50% increment in e-commerce transactions and at a lower cost. Speaking at opening of the Abuja E-NAIRA Merchants Mega event over the weekend, which was organized by the Apex Bank in collaboration with the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the CBN governor noted that for merchants, E-NAIRA would help them reduce cash handling costs, elimination of failed transactions, instant settlement, increased speed of transactions, improvement in records keeping, and elimination of challenges associated with giving change to customers, amongst others. He, however, pointed out that merchants, including petrol stations, supermarkets, e-commerce, and other businesses, not only have significant roles to play in driving the adoption of the E-NAIRA, but can also leverage on the opportunities offered by the digital currency to improve cash management and make significant savings in operating costs. He further assured the participants that the CBN will continue to innovate and upgrade the E-NAIRA platform to serve business and deepen the digital economy in Nigeria. The federal government received 1.09 trillion naira from indirect taxes in the first 2 quarters of 2022. That's according to data from the National Bureau of Statistics. This represents a 10.29% increase from 984.33 billion naira obtained in the first 2 quarters of 2021. These figures were revealed by the NBS in its recent Gross Domestic Product report, where it disclosed that the nation's GDP grew by 3.54% in real terms in the second quarter of 2022. It also stated that aggregate GDP stood at 45.01 trillion naira in nominal terms. Figures from the GDP data reveal a steady growth of indirect taxes. The taxes grew from 636.19 billion naira in first quarter and second quarter of 2020 to 984.33 billion naira in the corresponding period of 2021, rising to 1.09 trillion naira in the same period of 2022. The Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria has raised concerns that the delay in the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act by President Muhammadu Buhari was slowing down in new investments and subsidy removal. MOAN Chairman Olumide Adesoun said the Petroleum Industry Act 2021 is an excellent piece of legislation, which was extremely well thought through. He noted it's now a new point implementation, which is taking a bit longer than hoped. The president postponed the implementation of free market pricing, which has caused a slowdown with respect to benefits expected from free competitive open market pricing, such as new investments and subsidy removal. Nigeria's diaspora remittances continued its upward trend in the first quarter of the year. First quarter 2022, rising by 20.3% year-on-year to $5.16 billion from $4.29 billion in the same period of last year. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that remittances from Nigerians working abroad have been on the upward trend since the third quarter of 2020. On a quarter-on-quarter basis, quarter-on-quarter remittances rose by 2.6% in the first quarter of 2022 from $5.03 billion in fourth quarter of 2021. This represents the 7th consecutive quarterly increase in diaspora remittances. Recall the CBN in December 2020 introduced measures to encourage diaspora Nigerians to send their remittances through the banking system. The foreign exchange and fuel crisis that have plagued the aviation sector seem to have led to a decline in the sector's contribution to the gross domestic product by 61.47%. The nominal GDP output of the sector crashed from 84.73 billion naira in the first quarter of 2022 to 32.65 billion naira by the second quarter of the year. That's according to latest quarter to second quarter 2022 GDP data from the National Bureau of Statistics. There have been serious concerns over millions of dollars earned by foreign airlines operating in the country, which they could not repatriate due to foreign scarcity. There have also been concerns around the rising cost of aviation fuel, which has made the cost of operations high for domestic airline operators. Domestic and international airlines operating in the country have been raising airfares and reducing flights due to these crises. Meanwhile, fares in the domestic sector of air travel have risen by over 200% in the last 1 year. Ticket prices for travel on major routes, Lagos-Abuja, which sold for between 35,000 naira and 50,000 naira last year, are on offer for between 80,000 naira and 96,000 naira respectively. Ticket prices on the Lagos-Port Harcourt rotation, which hovered in the neighborhoods of between 35,000 naira and 40,000 naira, are selling for between 88,000 naira and 90,000 naira. Experts said ticket prices on the Lagos and Kano roads, which stood for between 45,000 naira and 60,000 naira last year, are selling for between 90,000 naira and 150,000 naira. The chairman, United Nigeria Airlines and spokesperson for Airline Operators of Nigeria, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, had earlier noted that domestic airlines had been struggling with high operation costs due to the hike in aviation fuel. He also lamented a lack of adequate forex from the Central Bank of Nigeria and had pushed airline operators to get forex from the black market at high costs. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Ibrahim PANTAMI, says the 18.44% contribution of the information and communications technology sector to Nigeria's gross domestic product in the second quarter of 2022 is the highest ever in the history of the Nigerian economy. The National Bureau of Statistics released the report on the recent statistics on Nigeria's gross domestic product report for second quarter of 2022 at the weekend, which showed that the digital economy sector under PANTAMI continued its trend of playing a key part in the growth of Nigeria's economy. The report by NBS indicated that the ICT sector contributed 18.44% to the total real GDP in second quarter of 2022. This is the highest contribution of ICT to the GDP and is truly unprecedented and marks the third time that the sector has achieved an unprecedented contribution to Nigeria's GDP during the tenure of the minister in first quarter of 2020 and second quarter of 2021 and now second quarter of 2022. The Secretary of Presidential Enabling Business Council, PEBEC, Dr. Jumoke Duwale, has assured a World Bank grant totaling $750 million will soon be shared among many states and individual managers of small and medium-scale businesses in Nigeria. Duwale made this known on the weekend in Abuja while briefing journalists on her activities lined up for the first quarter of the year alongside other programs to mark Nigeria's independence anniversary celebration. The World Bank grant, according to her, will be given to those who meet stipulated terms and conditions involved in business development in their states and the nation at large. Uduale says that shortly after the presentation on October 1st, PEBEC will unveil its annual report, which is to be used to form states' action plans as criteria for states to access the $750 million World Bank grant.